What's going on, YouTube? It's Donnie B all day. Got another knife review for you today. This one is one I've had for a bunch of years, and it was cool when I bought it. I didn't think it was going to be much because it was at such a low price point, between like 25 and 30 bucks. I thought it was kind of a joke knife. When I purchased it, turned out to be an absolute keeper. This is the Glock field knife. I don't talk a lot about sheaths, but I'm going to talk about this one. The belt loop actually comes apart, and so you can put it on and off without having to take off your belt. The sheath, it's a snap-in, and it's completely ambidextrous, and it's even got a water release hole and a lanyard hole at the bottom. Not bad. It's wicked strong too. The knife itself, HRC 55 spring steel, which is, I mean, it's strong as a mud truck. This thing is just built to last. When I first saw it, I thought, oh my god, somebody put out some gimmick knife and called it a Glock. No, it's an actual Glock product. I don't know if we can get it in there. You see the little Glock logo right there. I don't like skinny blades. It's 6.5 inches long. I think overall the whole thing's like 11.4. But it's really cool. The handle is that same material they use for their guns, that polymer. It's freaking destructible. I have used this thing for anything and everything. You can see how worn it is. I've literally chopped through cinder blocks with this, even using the spine. I don't know if we can get it in there. The spine is still in great shape, but you can actually, it's marked up because this knife has been used and almost abused. You know, I don't do torture tests, but I put this thing through the ringer, just hammering away at it like spring steel should be hammered away at. But, you know, I can say it all day long, but saying it isn't showing it. So let's go show it off. All right. So, you know, historically, skinny blades like this aren't exactly known to be choppers. They're just not built for it. It's, you know, let me see. I think my ring is probably bigger than the overall width of this blade. But we're going to chop anyway, just to show you, give you a quick idea if it can actually dent some wood. And it's light. It's really, really light. So by nature, it's not a chopper at all. It's just not. However, just like any bladed weapon, it will still chop. You're going to take wood away, right? But it's not a chopper. There's just not enough mass and not enough weight behind this blade to really get a nice, powerful swing. You're losing a lot of that momentum with the tip falling behind. Like the K-bar fighting knife, it's light in the front, which is really weird for a fighting knife because when you have a fighting knife, you want it to go forward. These do not. They're not great for downward strikes. They're great for inward strikes. That being said, I wouldn't want to be hit downward with it. Let's go do some more stuff. All right, YouTube, say hi to Stumpy. Don't be rude. So let's do some balance tests. We know that this one-piece handle construction isn't going to separate or come apart. It's so light that barely bit in, right? So let's just drop it again, and again, it's barely biting in. Now it is a little clip point with a false edge, but the edge isn't exactly skinny, so I'm not worried too much about prying, but it's not a prying knife. It's just too narrow for that, so I'm not going to use it for that. But it is a throwing knife by every sense of the word. This thing you can chuck into the wood or the grass or the dirt or the cow all day long, well, until the cow falls down, and you're not going to damage this thing. It's kind of a weird video to do because I already know, no matter what, that this knife can't be hurt. It just can't. But I'm going to give you some stuff anyway. Let's see if I can try this. I don't have any wood near me that's good enough to be either a baton or something to chop through, but you will see that it's still quite capable of even splitting, right? It's capable of carving, and this blade has been used a lot. I mean a lot. So we're not going to do no shave tests with it because there's just no way in hell I'm taking off hair. Wood, however, I'm going to take off a whole bunch of that. So let's see. I'm going to just use this because it's right here. I know you don't generally use this for feather sticking, but we're going to do that today. So with an old, used, and abused blade, I am making some really good little curls here, as I should be doing on a piece of wood like this. But what's happening is I just end up chopping them all off. So I'm pretty sure you're seeing it happen. But these are the curls I was getting. Once you pick them up all off the ground, all 47 that you make, then you can make some pretty good fluff. You can get a fire going. The spine is near 90. If you're going to strike, you're going to strike with the false edge up top to get your spark. You could even, and I know a lot of people are really weird about using a ferro rod on the blade because it damages the edge. It's just what it does. I don't know how many people use this part of the edge for anything. When you're hacking, when you're chopping, when you're batoning, when you're doing anything, the last quarter inch or half inch of this blade or any blade isn't the part of the blade that, you know, it isn't something you couldn't sacrifice. Generally, there's a choil down here anyway on a lot of knives. So if you think about it, really your edge on most knives, or you know, most survival knives anyway, it would be starting up here. This one starts really, really close to the hilt. So if you need to strike a rod, use the end of the edge. The sharper it is, the better spark you're gonna get anyway. So don't be afraid. Plus, I mean, it's spring steel. You know what I mean? Listen, oing, 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 oing. That was totally not me. That was springy. So let's go and hit a few more things, okay? All right, my 1-inch forest is looking more like, well, one of those post McDonald's forests in the Amazon. It is not too good, but we're gonna hit it anyway because that's what we do, and I'm your friend. So these are actually these whatever's left here is actually thicker than my knife blade itself. So I'm not exactly sure if I'm going to be able to get all the way through, but we're going to try, yeah, okay. So you can see the length that sliced through. That was actually no problem at all. I'm going to hit this thicker one, and I broke it because probably my swing was shit, but you can see how much before I broke it, I mean, easily and cleanly went through for an old, beat up, you know, rugged looking blade. One more, I'm gonna hit the big one. This is definitely thicker than the blade. And, well, it actually took a pretty good nick, but that was all me. I'm standing in a hole. All right, so I fucked up. Sorry, Glock, that's not your product. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give it the okay grip. Whoop, whoop, okay, kind of like what you do with a kukri. And we're gonna swing that way. Peace out. And again, it's just user error where I just wasn't going in far enough. Do not let my weak ass strike there with maybe my vision is going. I don't know, I could have swore I was there, but what's happening is when I'm swinging, I'm coming around instead of through. I was coming back. You could probably see it. My form was just jacked up, and that time my form was there. I don't care what you say. This is just starting to get a little too wobbly. Yeah, so this video part, this segment is, well, I was just about to say it's a complete fail, and then I totally redeemed myself. So you can see though, every time I hit it, it's cutting, you know. So I mean, this is literally, I wish, here, you know, I can actually. What am I talking about? This isn't stationary. So you can see that slice. I'm hitting it, and it's actually doing what I want it to do. That was my thumb. And the problem is, I'm hitting it, and it's pushing through, but it's also moving the branch, or moving the tree. So it's, as I hit it, it's pulling away, and therefore we're not getting all the way through. So what I want to do is I want to try to hit it forward, right? And I'm gonna get the same reaction. So what do you want from me? All right, I try. I do this for free, okay, you guys? Let's do some more. All right, guys, this here is a born thrower. So what do you say we get born and we throw it? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get to my 5-yard mark, and I'm gonna toss it into our wood and see how many tries it's going to take me to stick this, because I haven't thrown it in quite a while. Yeah, I'll tell you what, you guys, I do these videos, and so far I've done this on every first throw where I've landed. Some of them were pretty freaking ugly, but they've stuck. This one, you could see it's not in there far, you know what I mean? It wasn't the greatest throw, but it went in straight. And if that was skin, you know what I mean, that would have gone in a little bit farther than it did in the wood. But I nailed the throw. Done to be all day. All right, one final thing before wrap up. I told you guys that this thing is strong. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a brick, right? Now, my house is was built in 1771, right? It's 245 years old, and was visited by George Washington twice, once as general and once as president. So a lot of the bricks are old, but they're still bricks. They're strong, right? I mean, for the house to stand up for that long, they've got to be pretty tough. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the spine of this knife, and I'm just gonna give it a few whacks at this brick, which is a brick, and we'll see how we do. And right away we take out a little chip, and we take out a bigger chip, and so it's chunking away this brick pretty good. And I have red brick on the blade. I don't know how that got there, but let's wipe that off. So let's take a look at the spine. You can see some of the black is not on the blade, but the blade is still on the blade. Spring steel, the HRC 55 version, and this is just tough as nails. Actually, it's as tough as the leaf spring on your car, because it is. All right, so let's go do our final discussion. So here we are with the Glock field knife and our final thoughts. My final thoughts were done long before I made this video, since this knife has been in my collection for a pretty long time. I've used this in the woods, I've used this in the yard, I've used this in the house. You know, like Dr. Seuss in it, I used it in the house, I used it with a mouse. This thing is durable as all get up. It is a pretty hefty, badass knife. Now you see a hole right there, and you're like, oh, I can't see all the way through the lanyard hole. That's not a lanyard hole, that's a pinhole, right? So the blade is full tang construction. Don't let the hidden tang fool you. It goes all the way to the end, and it's pinned in, and it's miracle tough. If you want something that you can use for the harder tasks in life, for things that, you know, you don't want to, you know, ding up a pretty looking blade, this is a knife that you gotta have, especially for the price point. Go on eBay and just look. These things are dirt cheap, but they are crazy strong. It's 100% Glock from top to bottom, you know. I had very low expectations with this knife when I first bought it, and after my tests, those expectations completely did a 180. It is just a great knife, and it's something that you will love to have in your collection not just for a put it on the wall and hang up this skinny knife piece, but something that you know that you can do pretty much anything with it, and you're still going to have a knife to use in the morning. It's awesome. It's a really, really good product from Glock. There's no magazines, and it doesn't hold 15 rounds. But if you get up close, woo, I'll tell you what, you'll never run out of ammo. So that's it. It's a great knife. It's the Glock field knife. I am Donnie B all day, and until next knife.